It's like, so I have a notification saying we're live on.
I'd be okay with restarting so my full name isn't in there.
There we go. Now we're live.
I'd be okay with so my full name isn't.
Okay. I don't think anyone got your full name. Don't worry.
Okay. Well, we'll watch it back.
Yeah.
We'll view the replay, and we'll see.
Yeah. Professional streamers right here. That's what we are.
Yeah,
Or
that's right.
Amateur streamers. I don't know. Anyways,
It still hadn't shown up.
I don't see anything yet.
What?
Yeah.
It still says we're waiting.
Maybe we finally YouTube
Did we
had
break
enough.
YouTube?
After 2 podcasts,
You're banned.
YouTube
Right.
said,
Do I send the wrong? Do I have the wrong one? Am I streaming to the wrong one?
"Oh wait, there appears to be 2 options here.
Let's see.
Live.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, I see it now. I see it.
Okay, it is.
Yep, I see it now.
Oh yeah, I it's the wrong one.
Oh, you started on another thing.
Yeah.
So we've just been talking this whole time about nothing.
Basically.
Yeah.
It's been
Okay.
streaming for the last 2 hours.
Yeah. Do you want to share the gameplay here?
Yeah.
All right.
In here, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to watch it while we're talking.
I agree. So
I like watching
while-
myself.
while you watch Amaranth.
Yeah, it's in one tab. It's actually
Yeah.
just split screen.
I actually just have half my screen on that right now.
Oh wait, we're doing a podcast right now. Hold on, let me close out of that.
All right.
I'm working on it.
Oh yeah.
There
There
we
we go.
All right.
Just Amaranth.
Oops, wrong
all of
window.
a sudden it comes up.
All right.
All right. Very
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead and add this to my home screen tabs.
bookmark it.
Yeah.
Save
Do
it for
people
later.
use bookmarks still?
I do.
I use bookmarks.
Yeah,
I've got like 50 bookmarks
because I'm old.
Why?
What do you do?
because I'm an old man.
I just
I can't
remember the
remember
websites.
websites.
You just remember
Wow,
the website?
Aren't you
Yeah.
big brain?
God, how many people have you killed?
I'm not legally allowed to say that one. All right. Well, so we're a little bit delayed in the introduction, but we're here at episode 3 of VGotM. VGotM. We have a name now. It's
Nice.
This was
VGotM.
the placeholder name, which is now the name.
Exactly. I'm joined
Video
by
game of the month club.
Yes.
It's
that
an
one.
abbreviation, just like thought.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
What does thought
We-
stand for?
Angry recently learned.
Yeah.
I'm joined by Angry. How are you doing?
Irritated.
Like your butt?
We'll get to that later.
Well, stay tuned for the butt
Stay tuned
story.
to the end of the podcast.
For the angry butt story.
Melancholy.
We'll do it in microtransaction form, so you get like 30 seconds every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm also joined with Chief. How you doing, Chief?
I've been better. The mystery disease from the other planet has infected me, so I'm
Well, I think
slowly getting better.
I think
but
as long as we say that you are infected with COVID, we're allowed to say the word COVID.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Just
I
as
see
long
the
as-
stream just went offline. No, I'm kidding.
Just kidding.
I'm kidding.
Sure, if you don't believe in it,
I gotcha.
Oh.
This is unprecedented levels of sarcasm.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
So as long as you say you have COVID and that it is an actual disease, we're allowed to stay up.
No, I know it's a disease.
Just don't mention ivermectin. That's all. That's the only thing you're not allowed to do.
Don't mention what? You cut out there.
It's like we need a bleeper. We need a chat bleeper.
This month's podcast brought to us by hydroxychloroquine.
And Ninja, you're also here. Welcome to the Giraffe Clan.
Thank you. I've been a member for quite some time now.
Well, yes, but I mean we're welcoming them into VGotM, even though they're always here.
Oh,
He
yeah.
just Ninja just randomly appears like out of thin smoke, just all the time.
That's right.
Just like, and there he is.
That's me.
So,
All right, so
who suggested this game?
Technically me,
Oh yeah.
but it was actually a gift from Angry for my birthday, and then I'm pretty sure, and then we started looking at it. Yeah, thank you. So he gave me the game, thinking, "Hey, this looks like a cool space game we could play together." I'm pretty sure.
Space.
Yeah, we're big into space stuff, and take that any way you want. And then
In space, no one can hear you moan.
that's right.
Not even ASMR.
Yeah, it's the opposite of whatever. So yeah, I couldn't think of the letters quick enough. I was like, I'm gonna mess it up. ARMS, something like that. I don't know. So arms. Oh, dang. All right. So yeah, so he gave it to me, and then we decided that we wanted to play it, and we had the voting coming up for VGotM, and thought it'd be a good one. And since the Giraffe Clan now apparently holds like majority votes, we can just choose to play whatever we want each month. So we all agreed to vote for Pulsar.
I was surprised that Destiny 2 wasn't voted for this month.
I feel like we've played it enough that I don't know.
Destiny
We'll see.
2 is always on the docket for me.
It's the constant. It's the
Yeah.
constant.
That's
It's
what we
the
play
one
when we're not playing.
Yeah.
Not
Video
that this
game we
is an
play when we're
endorsement
not
for
playing video
Destiny, because it's awful.
It's ice
But I
cream
love
guys.
It's my favorite game that I hate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways,
But,
I
new
suggested
season,
it, and we all
new
voted on it.
DLC, so good.
Well, why don't you kick off and let us know what you thought, or do you want to give us a little like rundown of what it is, what the game is?
Sure, yeah. So I actually have pulled up today the Steam description, which it doesn't really give too much information, but it says, Pulsar Lost Colony. Team up to operate a starship and explore a randomized galaxy falling into chaos. Coordination between your crew members is essential to survive the perils that await you. So essentially what this game is all about is you get together, you and 4 of your closest astronaut friends, and you fly a spaceship to go explore this huge galaxy with all these different planets and sectors. And you can join factions, you can fight factions, and there's a storyline that is very vague and difficult to get to the end of. And
You can get kicked
Did
out
we
of
actually make it to the
factions.
end?
oh well,
Someone
not
cheated to get to the end.
yeah. Well, I'm a resident cheater, so
So since we didn't get it to the end, like, and we'll go into our thoughts on it later, but what happens when you find the lost colony?
I guess y'all don't know, do you? Because I never told you. So, I mean, like, I don't want to give away the ending, but you know, if you're gonna play this game and you don't want to know the ending, just skip.
Yeah, spoilers.
Just close your ears.
Yeah, skip ahead 5 minutes.
Yeah, maybe not. More like a minute.
Okay.
But anyway, so basically, you have to go
For
find
2.5.
your way about the galaxy and find these 4 data fragments, right? And the more data fragments you get, the more likely you are to have like ships attack you because they see you have data fragments, stuff like that. I mean, keep in mind this is all a PvE world, so it's not like other people. It's just other AI.
It's 100% NPC, basically.
Yeah. So once you get all 4, you have to go to this like giant warp gate somewhere on the edges of the map of the full map that you can explore. So which getting across the map is an event in and of itself, because pretty much every time you warp into a new sector, there's ships to fight, there's stuff to explore, there's a mission or something. You get called by one of the factions to say, hey, we're going to do a cargo inspection to make sure you don't have any black market stuff you're not supposed to have. So you get the data fragments and you go to the big warp gate, and you align it based off what the data fragments tell you. And when that happens, there's a giant ship that all of a sudden you enter in this like epic final ship battle in. And if your ship, I'm telling you, if it is not like maxed out with all the best stuff, you're probably not going to survive. That battle was wild, and I mean, especially with the dumb bots that it gives you. But
this is after you spent like 4 hours working on the AI for the bot, right?
Exactly. Yeah. This is after I spent a lot of time reworking like the AI, priorities and all that. So you win that fight, and then it warps you through all the way, and you find this like alternate dimension place. It's just a planet in which they've built a station for exploration. And the story, I mean, it's been like half a month since I did this, so I didn't like the intricacies of the story are a bit lost upon me at this point. But basically what happens is someone found this alternate dimension and figured out that it had this like superpower species or something, and they accidentally released it into the world, which explains a lot of the stuff that you encounter in the game as you're getting to the end of the game. And so at the very end, there's this like ultra monster that controls the minds of all these things that are taking over the regular world.
Is anyone else getting lost?
It's pretty complex. I know. But the thing is, you don't learn any of this until the very end. So you go the whole game.
Go ahead.
No.
I was going to say, I was expecting like the Lost Colony was literally just like nothing.
You found it.
Well, no, not even that. It was just like, this is just a like, what's that? There's a movie that does kind of this thing where it's like everyone's searching for this one. It's kind of like what's her name? The angel, robot angel anime one. I can't remember anyway. But it's like this place where you go, where everyone says to go, and you have to strive to get there.
Movie.
Everyone wants to get there, and you get there, and there's just nothing. It's like it was just a corporation controlling everyone, convincing them to go there, so it keeps everyone under control. Or you get there, and the whole civilization's into dust. This is crazy what you're describing.
Yeah. I was expecting a lot more of like a No Man's Sky, like you get to the center of the universe and then it's like, all right, congrats, do it again.
No, it was pretty complex by the end, and so, but the problem is that I was going to mention is you really don't learn a lot of this stuff. I mean, I guess there's probably like hints throughout the galaxy, this like massive galaxy. Yeah, but man, there's so much to read. Like every single person has like a full dialogue thing.
Anyways, it's a pro and a con.
Yeah, a pro and a con. I mean, if you really want to get into it and learn all about the galaxy while you're out and about, good on you. But this is clearly, and we'll get into this later, but this is clearly a game for people who like to get real in depth. So, so yeah, at the very end, there you come across this they've trapped this big monster, and like there's nobody left at this lost colony. They're all dead, and it's like, yeah, the decision is up to you whether you like release it or like use its power for something, and so you can choose to keep the power for yourself, where basically you become like a unstoppable deity, or you can give it. Oh, definitely kept it for myself. I had zero sense of loyalty to any faction.
Well, you also cheated.
Quite frankly, I cheated my way. Yeah. So, but it dawned on me while I was there that there was no way I would have actually been able to like. Yeah, I mean, maybe, but that actually spend the time to beat the game in a month. Like this is a game that the end game is literally finishing the storyline.
Right.
So,
but I know while we were going through it, even after we had kind of leveled up, we're feeling pretty powerful. Like going into bandit clunkers, we're dying quickly.
Yeah.
And we went into that infected area and just got demolished instantly.
Exactly.
We also started getting destroyed when we made enemies of everyone.
Whose fault was that?
That was my
captain's.
That's right.
I believe that was me at that time. Yes, I accidentally targeted a friendly ship, and they just kept sending distress signals.
And I was on weapons.
You're just following orders.
You just targeted it, and I was shot. And
I was just following orders.
You've lost reputation.
We ran a very fascist ship.
Just following orders, sir.
I mean, okay, so this month I feel like normally we have like one or two, maybe three experts about each game, and I feel like I was the resident Pulsar expert this
you're
month.
You definitely did the most in-depth reading.
We're missing.
Yeah.
Definitely missing Ski Freely. Like if you'd been there.
So. Anyways, that's. I mean, it ended up being a couple minutes long, but that's my basic.
So if anyone only skipped 1 minute ahead, they got hit with spoilers.
Sorry, you probably hit a lot of spoilers. Oh well.
Took you 1 minute
now
to
you don't
get
have to play it. So. No, I'm just kidding.
I would say like I really enjoyed the aspect of the crew members and each person having like a role to fill and stuff like that. Like obviously we really didn't follow the captain's orders too much. So I felt useless as a captain, but when Ninja was a captain, he flew the ship too, so that helped.
It did help.
Anybody getting some feedback on Droneon's mic?
Oh, am I too loud?
Yeah, getting some crackling.
Some crackling.
I'm moving down.
I thought it was ASMR.
Did you get a new ASMR mic?
Is that better?
ARMS, Mark?
Is that talking too loud?
Arms mic.
Wait, try again.
How about this? Is this talking too loud?
It's still a little crackly. I don't know why.
Jeez.
You're clear. There's just a little crackle.
Yeah, a little crackle. You know, like you're a carbonated mic.
Or like Rice Krispies.
Yeah.
Oh, this is when
There's
we were
no
looking at the
snap.
back of your eyeballs. That was creepy.
I think, why don't we go through and, because I think we all kind of played different roles most of the time and kind of almost stuck to them. We could all kind of give our interpretation of the roles.
Sure. Yeah. Angry, why don't you start?
Well, so the game had a couple of different roles. There was the captain, whose main role was to just give orders and direct the ship, but also had the ability to help out with any other role. The captain was the captain. He was able to do anything on the ship. Every character had
negotiate.
Yeah.
There was negotiation.
But you yelled at me when I used the talent point for negotiation.
So each character had, like we said, talent points that strengthened your specific area of expertise within the ship, and there was a lot of information in the in-game kind of tutorial and manual about the in-depth gameplay of each specific class. And what I liked about it was that there was actually, it wasn't a game where you had different classes, but it kind of didn't matter. It was like you needed everybody to fulfill their specific role. So the captain could do everything, but was responsible for kind of directing the goals of the ship and, you know, what to buy at outposts or how to interact with other ships in the area. The pilot obviously piloted. There was a gunner that was responsible for all the big guns of the ship and managing those and the firepower that was used against other people. And then a scientist was responsible for discovering things in each sector and also fending off any cyber attacks or instituting cyber attacks. And then my role, which was the engineer, which was diverting power to different areas of the ship. So what I liked about that was that whenever you got in a gunfight or when you entered another section of the universe functioned a lot like the No Man's Sky universe, where you warped from one area to the other. And within that one area, there were individual activities to do. But whenever you get into an area where there's an enemy and you get into a fight, everybody has to communicate quite a bit. And it was, I thought, a lot of fun. The downside of being an engineer, I thought, was that you couldn't really see. We'll get to that. You couldn't really see outside the ship much, so while it was pretty action packed in terms of still needing to do stuff, you didn't really get to see the effect of what you were doing on the surrounding world. I think it would have been nice to at least have a side screen or something where you could view the outside mid-fight or something. But you typically you managed a core temperature where the more activities that were going on the ship raised the core temperature. And then, so if there was extreme piloting going on, or if the guns were being used, or if you were fighting off a virus, all of those things raised the amount of core temperature and power needed. But if you started overheating, then the ship would explode. So what ends up happening was you could focus your power to one area or another. So if you needed to be more mobile, you could focus it to the steering department at the expense of maybe guns or fighting off something else. But in reality, there wasn't really I didn't think there was a big opportunity to really make critical decisions and divert power from one area to another. So much it was just kind of like you had the option of either limiting the power output in order to preserve the core or using coolant. And if you were in a big firefight where you were fighting 2 or 3 people at a time, really your only option was using coolant to keep the core low. But I did really enjoy whenever Ninja was piloting the ship, just stopping all output to the driving just to make it to where he couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
That seemed to happen relatively frequently.
relatively.
That was just, I felt like that was the most optimal decision at those times.
Just irritate me as much as possible. It's like the space equivalent of bags.
You're always going to be space bagging. But I did appreciate there was whenever you jumped from one section to another, part of that was within the engineering realm where you initiated the jump to a different sector after the pilot aimed it at the sector that you wanted to go to. But one of the activities that only the pilot could perform was called a blind jump.
Only
And,
the captain, actually.
Yeah, only the captain could initiate that because it was chaotic. And so if you got in a firefight and you couldn't get out and you didn't have time to align the ship or you didn't have the power to rev up the core to do a jump or something, you could blind jump. But you blind jump, you could potentially just destroy the ship. Or several times, remember the first time it happened, we warped and it put you so close to a star that your ship was just constantly catching on fire.
Yeah.
And
You can't get away from it.
It took us forever to figure out that you can't pilot away from it, and your ship is just constantly on fire despite
Until
putting
you
it
warp
down
again.
until you warp again.
The gravity just kept us there.
Yep.
Did
Yeah.
anyone blind jump and it was like a good thing?
No.
'Cause every time
I don't know.
I did it was like a blind jump to a star, blind jump to I think 3 other ships.
Maybe it's
Nice.
always has consequences.
Yeah. This is why blind people don't pilot ships.
That's right.
Why they don't jump?
That's right.
And it's why they don't jump.
They can't see where they're going to land.
They wouldn't have.
That's why they're not captains.
Well, blind people could be captains. They just can't be pilots.
If I've
On
learned
that note,
anything this month.
This month's sponsor is blind people. No.
They saw that this was a great podcast.
I spent a significant amount of time. Well, I did a lot of different ones, so I don't feel like I mastered any specific one. Currently, I think I'm controlling the scientist on our on the stream, and Ninja, you did a much better job than I did, but I could not figure out how to like the whole programs thing. I would just like front load them. So one of the aspects of scientists is you can do offensive attacks with as a virus, or you can do defensive attacks and prevent the other people from doing viruses on you. And as soon as we got hit with a virus, every single time I would immediately hit the antivirus, and they had 5 or 6 other viruses coming after me. And so I feel like I front loaded most of my abilities as a scientist, and then was spent just kind of watching the screens flicker while everyone else yelled at me.
What are you doing?
Get this virus. I was like, I can't.
Well, it also doesn't start you out with a whole lot of science options. Like, you get stuff over time. You can purchase them from outposts and stuff.
I did think that was something that came along later.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't have them at the beginning. There you go. I just did an antivirus, and then we.
Or you just have antivirus,
Uh,
and just the stuff that's on the screen right now pretty much is what the ship came with.
Yeah.
I would say like that, like John Angry mentioned briefly, like the tutorial aspect of it, and this tutorial was insane. Like, I don't know if the rest of you did the tutorials for every single role, but the piloting one was one of the most frustrating things.
I didn't do a tutorial. I just read it.
Yeah, me too.
They recommend you like do automatic piloting or something like that, which like kind of orients your ship based on how the the direction the camera is pointing, and trying to
No.
pilot through like a mine shaft, which is what you had to do to pass the pilot training. While that was happening, in the way that the ship gets piloted, I failed probably 20 times. And I was like, this is the dumbest thing. And then after Ninja piloted the thing on manual piloting, and I went and tried it once, and I was like, this is so much easy. This is like, it was a very simple process, but that's why I didn't try and be a pilot at all the entire time. I was scared after the tutorial. So as you're like going through from like, is it system? Probably systems. System to system, like you have dynamic. Well, I don't think they're dynamic actually. I think they're static. Like every system has a specific enemy or event happening there.
Yeah.
And you get to experience like fighting bandits. You can go and like get a quest. You can go visit a planet and stuff like that. And I found that kept it rather fresh. Like I didn't feel like I was running into the same. To compare it to Sea of Thieves, I didn't feel like I was running into the same, like the exact same thing happening over and over again, because everything felt slightly different. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Right. Well, I know I started several games over, just to try out different ships and stuff. And every game is pretty static. The locations on the map move around, but generally speaking, each system has its own set, like this is going to happen when you enter the system. This is the order of missions that you're going to receive while warping. So the game is very set in the way it's going to unfold. But that doesn't diminish the fact that while you're playing it, it does feel,
Crafted.
the chaos of it. Yeah, it doesn't feel generated. It doesn't feel like everything happens the same way. It almost feels spontaneous, even though it's not.
Yeah, it actually took me a while to kind of realize, even though I knew it going in, I kept thinking it felt like a MMO world where things were unscripted and it was just happening because other players were in the area. Actually,
Yeah.
It kind of took me a while to remember that this is an entirely PvE game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You just thought that you were just a genius. Like,
Yeah.
so
Well, that's what. At first, I thought, man, like other people suck at this game. I think I was just conditioned from Sea of Thieves to think that we were just going to get shit on immediately whenever we, went somewhere. But then, all of a sudden, it became like apparent that we weren't actually really good at the game. In fact, the opposite.
Yeah.
I felt like the complexity of it though was fascinating. It really tickled my brain. Like as I just saw on the stream that having to go and use fuel. I can use fuel to gather up my programs again, like reboot my programs, rejuvenate. I don't know.
Yeah.
And like things like that where it's like there's a lot in your ship that you don't like. It takes a lot to just get a good feeling towards. So I think it wasn't until like 10 to 15 hours in where I was like, oh, I feel comfortable like knowing where things are in the ship if I need to get something.
And then, next time.
Yeah, and if you got
next time you play,
ship,
you do a different ship. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I will say I was really impressed at the amount of depth that was in the game. As far as like the roles of what to do on the ship. Too? It tickled something.
Yeah. It's like ASMR for my brain.
Yeah. Chief, you want to talk about weapons specialist?
Yeah. So mainly I was the weapons guy. And it was pretty straightforward. Just, when the bad guys showed up, aim and shoot. And yell at the engineer saying, "Give me more power." But and also it'd make me mad because those bots, anytime the captain said it to because the captain had like control of the bots, right? He would say like, we're under attack or something. So like the bots would do something. So the bots would go to like the weapons and take the power from the weapons when I'm trying to use the big cannon. So like I finally just had to shut down the other guns, so it would just be me using the weapons.
I did think it was funny whenever you pulled into like an area to upgrade stuff, and to upgrade you have to turn off your shields. And if you did it like half a second before it was the right time, all the bots would freak out and run down and to turn on the shields again.
I will say one of my most proudest moments, which was also the moment that we lost all of our reputation from the faction.
Union.
Yeah, the Colonial Union. We were being attacked by 3 ships, but there was a 4th colonial ship there. Before the attack happened, I had loaded up a nuclear weapon. And since there were 3 ships in one spot, I just thought, hey, I'll just launch this nuclear weapon. And we took out not only that ship, but the colonial ship. And all of a sudden, it said, hey, you've lost your reputation. It says, you're no longer part of the team. And then 3 more colonial ships jumped in to try and attack us. So
I will go ahead and blame that on Ninja, because we were like, oh, we should probably have some nukes. And he was like, how many nukes do you want? I'll just add them into the game.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, we were just having fun at that point,
Yeah, I mean, I had my nuke, and I was like, hey, might as well use it. And it worked out. So... But the other one that I did, I did the science person as well. And yeah, that one, there's a lot of details involved with being the science specialist. There's just a whole lot of different things that you got to know how to, look at the, if you're being attacked by an antivirus, are you going to look for weapons for the other ships? You got to find what the ship code is, search it up, and find what they're vulnerable to. And then once you use your things, you got to run and pump more fuel into the system so that you can, use it again. And so yeah, it was just a lot to deal with that scientist. I mean, I had fun doing both. I actually think I had a little bit more fun doing the science stuff because there was just a little bit more to it. But I mean, weapons was fun too. But it was just very straightforward. Just here's your weapons, and the more that you upgrade your personal like talent points, the better, better at aiming and the better, recharge and stuff that those weapons had. So, but it was fun. I mean, it was fun being a weapon specialist. So
there's something like the scientist gets basically something to do all the time. Like the weapons guy waits for people to show up, or if you go down to a planet, he's responsible. The engineer, I guess he gets something to do, but the science has, like, if there's nothing there, he scans the planet. He has to go and check on, like, research and stuff like that. Which, by the way, I never really figured out research. Did you check?
Yeah, neither did I.
Okay.
I tried. There's a Wikipedia page for this game. I assume. No, I mean not like. I mean, you know how like games have their own Wikipedia type thing.
Like a wiki page.
Yeah, sorry, a wiki. Yeah. So, whatever. You know what I mean. I mean, maybe it does have its own Wikipedia page. I don't know. No, but it has its own wiki. So, anyways, I would read that thing. I probably read every page on there, and there was not really that I found anything super explanatory about the research samples and how it works and the symbols and what they mean. I mean, generally you could read on the little screen that it shows you what each thing is going to do, but how to find each research talent and stuff like that, it's just kind of seemed lucky to me, based on luck. So, anyways.
So I have one. I want to hear the story from Angry about the first time he met one of those creepy black dudes. And no.
Phrasing. Let's rephrase.
Wait, which story are we talking about?
No, we should probably talk about Pulsar today.
No, it was
all right. So I was leaving my house.
We went down to like a derelict ship on a planet. And like,
oh God,
Angry just ran ahead of all of us because he was trying to loot everything.
I forgot about that. That scared the shit out of me.
I don't know.
So we had been going around. Sometimes you have an area where you can warp down from your ship down onto a planet, and then go explore the planet a little bit the way that Mass Effect did, where you have some worlds that aren't terribly in depth, but you can go down and go to sometimes outside, sometimes in a building, and accomplish a mission either by finding someone to talk to or killing something, or whatever the mission might be. So we went down to the ship. It was pretty dark inside, so you have on your flashlight, and you're looking around, and I don't even remember what we were looking for. I think we were just running around trying to find stuff.
We're on a mission to get like healings, like some sort of log or something.
I literally don't even know what we were doing. I was
We
just
were investigating a crash site.
happy to be along for the ride. And
This was a crashed ship that we were teleporting.
So I'm running around, and all of a sudden I round the corner, and there's this like shadowy figure there who then starts attacking me. And
your light starts flickering.
My light flickered. Like this shadowy dude is just appearing and disappearing. Oh my god!
Teleported around like crazy.
And scared the shit out of me. So I start yelling, and then I turn around and nobody's with me, and I'm like, whoa! just jumping out of my chair in here.
I wish I had that one. I don't know where it is, but
oh my god! And I remember I just kept saying, "There's someone here!" And everybody's in the other room looting something, and I'm jumping around like getting lost in this ship, trying to run away from this person. And eventually, finally, led him back to everyone, and we all shot him and killed him. He's pretty tough too, and there was a few of them.
I can't wait for the day that they master like in-game, like proximity-based chat, so that we could hear like Jonathan's screams down the hall. It's just like, oh my god.
Well, I think the thing was up until that point in the game, we hadn't encountered anything that was even mildly horror-ish in the game.
I think
that was
ROUS kind of thing.
Yeah, you get a few creatures here or there, or a few people that are shooting at you, but I mean, honestly, the like first person gunplay was pretty clunky.
Yeah, it was.
Like it was not Destiny or anything in terms of like gameplay quality of shooting people. And then so to be in a ship where you just assume, oh, they just made this one dark, and then all of a sudden there's the shadowy figure attacking you that you can't even see and is warping. Oh, the heart got racing.
I do think that's one of the benefits of having like a low development budget, like an indie game like this. Because you're sitting there and some of the janky things, you're just like, oh, this is just the way it is. Like, they didn't have the funds, they didn't have the time to really, pixel fuck this into really nice set piece or something. And then you get in there and it's intentionally done that way. I thought that that shadowy figure was like one of the best ways to show that. It was almost like what are those guys called? Endermen in Minecraft?
In Minecraft, yeah.
I thought it reminded me, if y'all have played Satisfactory, of like the first time that you get down below ground and you see those little spider things coming from you.
Next.
Well, yeah. there may or may not be spiders.
If there's spiders, I'll vote for it just to make you play it.
Wow. Yeah, I will say, like, on that note, especially considering what appears to be, kind of low budget game, relatively speaking. I mean, this obviously isn't like a AAA title. It is rare for a game to have this much depth and still feel like pretty balanced. Like every role was important. It felt like if we didn't have any one of the 5 roles, everything would have fallen apart.
Is anybody else hearing him cut out?
No, he sounds like a robot. I just assumed he was role playing.
Me? For real?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay.
Robotic.
Well, what did you catch? What do I need to repeat?
You need to, I don't know, reset your mic or something.
Is it bad?
It's bad.
Wow. Hold on.
It's Discord.
It probably is Discord.
Dang it.
But I do agree. Like it is.
I have great connection again.
It is crazy. When you're sitting there, like even having a bot, like what we put the bot on. Like when we had 4 of us, we basically put the bot on the pilot, and when Ninja was a captain, and made and just pushed him aside, and Ninja would pilot the ship.
Yeah.
Having a bot that wasn't, like you said, you spent like 4 hours working on the AI logic.
Oh yeah, at least.
And it wasn't. I wouldn't say that it was. Like it wasn't a. Like when I took a look at it, I wouldn't say it was super complex. Like it was just like it was hard to get them to do what you wanted them to do. Like the options they gave weren't exactly the most transparent.
Mm.
And so I like it. But as a system, like I played in old CRPGs and stuff like that, like Baldur's Gate and Dragon Age, where you can do like decision trees, and their decision trees were not that good. So I can understand, like, when you had that, it was very difficult. It was definitely a handicap to have a bot playing one of the roles.
Yeah. Well, I just got annoyed of them always doing stupid stuff. Like the pilot on patrol is, generally speaking, I mean they were fine for like your beginning ships, like with your basic thrusters, unleveled up, all that stuff. But if you leveled up your thrusters or you got better thrusters, they'd start running into stuff all the time because they had been, it was clear that they had only been designed to deal with the low-level ships, and they're expecting that if you really play the game, you're playing with, other people who can pilot the ship. So, I mean, that was one thing, and that's like obviously something you can't fix. Like, the AI script is not complex enough to where you can say like if you're 20 meters from a rock, don't hit it. Like, I don't know, but I did spend a long time trying to put together, a basic priority list for the bots, and I think ultimately I came to something that was actually pretty useful for solo play. But unless you're willing to put in a lot of time like that, I would just recommend playing with other people because it's way easier.
Yeah. Interrupting real quick, this was one of my favorite missions.
Yeah, this was cool.
So the mission we got and was. Basically, there's this asteroid heading towards a planet, and we have to go and destabilize the asteroid so we can blow it up. So we have to go and fly in there, shoot all of the stalactites or stalagmites, whichever one it is, blow it up.
Structural supports.
Structural supports to weaken it, and then we had to drop our core in there. And it was one of the few times where we weren't attacking a quote unquote another player, like another ship. It was like we were trying to do something. We were all having to work together. It looks like Angry wasn't here for this one. So
I was about to say, I think I missed this one.
It was great because
this looks cool.
We have to drop the core in this one at the end.
We couldn't figure it out.
Couldn't figure out how to be able to drop the core at all. And so we're all sitting there trying to figure it out. You can see the timer ticking down. I think we got down to like 10 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
And
it was wild.
Finally, I was like, I Googled it, and I was like, oh, we have to like heat up the core so that we're allowed to drop it. And then we can drop it. And like we're sitting there trying to spam to get the abilities going to make sure that our core heats up fast enough to get.
And then also in this instance, we had an engineering bot whose priorities
or to prevent the core from overloading.
So we're trying to sit there and get the core to overheat, and every time we do something, he's like, "Nope." So we had to just get rid of the engineering bot.
And then right after this, I think Random joined us, and we kicked him.
Did we? I didn't remember that.
I did like the time that we got in the black hole sector.
That was my favorite.
I forgot what we were even trying to do, but we just waited, and I think like a rando joined us as the pilot or something like that. Yes. And we just like already had the ship on a crash course path with a black hole, just letting it go in. And then all just looked at him.
I think, what did I say? I said something.
You talked to him, Ninja. You were like, "You're the only one that can save us." And then, as you finished typing that, the ship blew up.
I was hoping he would stay, but then he just joined. We flew into a black hole and died, and then it said he left.
Well, I said something afterwards too. I was like, "Wow, you're the worst pilot ever." Just messing with, it was fun.
It was too good.
Yeah, but he left immediately.
Yeah, he was not having it.
No.
I did think the black hole was pretty cool, though.
It was cool.
Any space
That
game
was
needs
another
to have
thing
a
that
good
we
amount
had.
of black holes in it.
Exactly. We had artificially gotten there because we didn't actually know how to find one.
That's right.
I think that would have been exciting if you're in the middle of a battle and you did a blind jump and then all of a sudden you ended up at a black hole sector.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, this is the part where he was trying to find the next spot to go where we dump our core in the middle of it.
Yep.
Oh my
And
gosh!
I was like, no,
yeah,
it's
I
on
forgot.
top.
Get
It's
out
on
of
top
the
of the
core in there.
asteroid, and you went to the bottom.
Also,
How'd you get out?
I just backed up. Oh, you mean of the asteroid
After you dumped your core.
without the core? Well, you'll
I
see.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to take another 6 minutes.
I don't want to ruin the surprise.
That's right.
I don't know, the tension's building up.
Yeah, I know. We're searching for the hole.
Well, if you could only hear what we're actually saying right now
That's right.
in the game.
I'm concerned. I don't remember what we were saying, so I don't really.
Don't really want to overlay that.
The closed caption guys might have a conniption.
What did they say?
Well, I guess this
Something
would
about
be a good
amaranth?
time for us to hear the story about Angry's itchy butt.
Oh yes.
Oh,
This
well,
week brought to you by Itchy Butt.
yeah, this week brought to you by IBS, Itchy Butt Syndrome. Well, the long story short is I went hiking, and I don't know.
That was your first
if
mistake.
Yeah, that was mistake number one. We here at VGotM do not support any degree of going outside. Went hiking, pretty good hike. I would recommend it. I'm not going to tell you where it is because then, obviously that gives away who I am. But even though it's not in the state where I live.
I have to interrupt real quick. How did you die there, Ninja? Oh, there's a fire. That's right. Okay, continue.
Yeah, there was a fire
Yeah, there's also a fire in my pants.
on my butt.
So we're hiking up this mountain, and like it's a pretty cool hike. It's a good workout. We got a good sweat going, and I sit down to put a little Band-Aid on my foot because I was getting a little blister going, and all of a sudden got this like super intense itch on my butt, and so I was like, man, like did I get like a spider in my pants or like ants in my pants or like do I need to dance or? And so I'm just like walking up this mountain, like scratching my butt constantly. And so, I eventually, just take my pants off in the middle of the trail. And I'm standing there like bare ass on the side of the trail, just like looking through my pants, like trying to figure out, like, do I have chiggers in there? And, or do I have some type of spider or tick or something? And I couldn't find anything, and made it down the mountain. Was pretty uncomfortable, and throughout that day just got like unbelievably worse. And I still don't really know what it is. I'm going to go with heat rash. So
Rash.
yeah, that's my working theory at the moment. I did a lot of Googling of pictures and whatnot. My Google search history.
Questionable.
Yeah, like if any of you happen to see my search history that's full of like butt rash pictures, it's not a kink. Just because it happened at 3 a.m. doesn't mean anything.
Basically, your search history is currently rash on butt and amaranth.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a few amaranth butt in there.
I don't know how those got in there.
Well,
But...
I'm not sure. I didn't know if she had been through the same experience. Is this where we blew off the ship?
No. This is where us trying to eject.
This is us trying to eject the
figure it
core,
out.
but we can't figure it out. We got 2 minutes and 30 seconds left.
And it keeps on shutting off. Like that's when you see the lights go off and you turn around, or if I turned around.
Yeah, it keeps automatically
you
shutting
gotta
off.
turn the safety off.
If you had been there,
Yeah.
we kick the
Yeah,
engineer.
Sorry, I was
engineer.
I was getting a butt rash. So for everybody in the chat,
So were we.
just like go ahead and drop your favorite butt rash in the comments.
Yeah,
Drop a picture.
Drop a picture of your butt rash in the comments.
and send it to
Favorite butt
angrygiraffe@gmail.com.
Angrygiraffe@buttpics.com.
Wait.
So I was just super happy. It was a pretty secluded trail, and like we only saw maybe like one or two other people on it the whole time. We were out there for 3 or 4 hours.
Well, it was probably a good
Nobody
thing since
saw
were
you.
naked.
Bare ass on the trail.
No, but the thing is, it was pretty liberating. Like I'm bare ass on top of a mountain. Like,
Feel the breeze.
yeah, who has had the wind through their junk on the top of a mountain?
I'd imagine more people than you think.
I peed off into the Pacific Ocean off a cliff.
Oh yeah.
Did it like blow back up in your face?
No, my pee's stronger than that.
My pee is stronger than the wind. There is no gale stronger than my urine.
Urine?
I couldn't think of the word. Took me a minute.
Yeah. No, I'm glad this experience, which was very painful for me, is now out there on the internet for forever.
Lasted precisely long enough for us to get to the end of this story on screen.
Right, exactly.
So back to the action at hand.
So all of a sudden, I'm like,
we have 40 seconds left.
I have to press this button right here, and that allows me to do it.
What?
I have no idea. Well,
It was over. So we have 30 seconds, and we spent the last 6 minutes running around this.
Well, you have to get the core
trying to
integrity.
get the core integrity down. We just figured that out.
There it is.
And then the stability has to go to 0.
Yeah. So we've got 10 seconds. Quick! Those asteroids. Nice.
Which is weird because we were probably inside that asteroid.
We were inside.
Yeah,
the
we
asteroid.
definitely were.
Yeah. So
Our ship would not survive.
Mission?
We're fine.
No, we got randomly teleported to a new place.
Some random guy joined our crew.
Snarkamedes.
Snarkamedes.
Trying to mooch off our success.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there was some confusion for quite some time as to how to make it a private game.
So
just kept having people join.
That story from Angry brings us to our sponsor for this month. We are sponsored by OnlyFans. Because in their infinite wisdom, they decided to ban porn from their website, which is, I believe, their business model.
They brought it back.
Oh, and then they brought it back, so we're no longer sponsored by them.
We've just received word that they pulled the sponsorship.
In honor of their new pornography approval, we at least me, am doing this podcast entirely nude right now.
Yes.
Yep.
Itchy butt.
It's 3 naked giraffes.
And a naked Nathan Fillion.
That's right.
But say, Jarnard, your picture is the one that's most seductive from OnlyFans.
That's true.
All right.
That's your OnlyFans profile.
And in that episode, he's actually naked. So it works out.
That's true. Yeah.
I just watched Firefly again recently.
I need to again. It's been 5 years.
It's too long.
Yeah. Yep. The hard part is.
All right.
Well, this has been a good podcast.
Yeah, I was thinking one last thing that we could mention, maybe like suggestions if anybody has any
For the game, yeah, because the devs will be listening.
Yeah, I'm sure that they care deeply about
Just
what we
make
have
it
to say.
better.
Could you just like make it better, man?
I think my suggestion is I think they nailed it in terms
on
of
level 3.
I think they nailed it in terms of like creating a game where like if you've got 4 or 5 people to play with and everybody has different roles, it feels fantastic when you're doing something together and you all have to communicate and it's frantic, but you accomplish something together. I think that feels great. But I think there needed to be a little bit more of a maybe like a clear reason to keep going. A lot of the missions were kind of variations of the same thing, and like Ninja said earlier, the story was a little hard to discern. Like you knew an overall goal, but you didn't have a lot kind of keeping you invested in going from sector to sector, finding out new information. If there had been more moments like stumbling across the horrifying dark shapes on the ship, and if that had been tied with a story connection that kept you intrigued looking deeper into the stuff in the galaxy, I think that would have been really cool. it would have gotten me a lot more interested in it, because I actually think for being a game that's predominantly about everybody flying a spaceship together as a crew, like I think they nailed that part of it. It felt great.
Yeah, I will say I understand the need for progressing through the story to be so slow. I mean, it was a game based off exploration. The entire premise is that you just get some transmission from some dude in this alternate, lost colony place. And he says like, "Oh, I have these like data fragments scattered about the universe and you need to go find them." And that's all the information you get. And it certainly feels that way because it does not ever tell you how to find one. So
Well,
I understand why that was necessary based off the story, but it just made for slow gameplay.
A good parallel to like exploration game would be the Outer Wilds. Like that game, more than anything I've ever played before, like was fantastic with exploration and discovery. And it gave you absolutely no information when you went out into the game. Like you just started discovering things, and the more that you discovered, the more it pushed you towards the story. It didn't even tell you what the story was. You had to figure it out.
Yeah.
But the more that you learned, the more you got invested in, like, maybe in that game there, I won't give it away, but there's a very scary place to go to, and at a certain point, even if you didn't want to go in there, you had to go in there to find out more of the story. And so I think if this had given you a little bit more of that cliffhanger reason to keep pushing to the next sector and finding out and doing the next mission, then I think I would have got a lot more addicted.
How was the story exposition go in Outer Wilds?
Without giving away too much of it,
like sorry, how was it given to the player? Like I haven't played the game yet, so it's like
you are a astronaut that goes out into the world, and there is a history to the solar system or universe that you're in, and you start discovering old artifacts of things. And you literally discover like kind of fragments of people's writing and stuff, but it's in small enough conversational blips to digest, so it's not too much information to read at one time.
Yeah.
But it also each piece feels organic, but also purposeful in driving you towards the rest of the story.
I see. I would say that is definitely, like, I like the slow build up in this game, but there is definitely a feeling of the action part of fighting the ships. The gunplay is not Destiny. It's not a Halo. It's not amazing, but the exploration of the planets was fun. So you have all these action oriented things that are very fun, and then as you're going through it, all of a sudden you're hit with this giant wall of text. It's like
and it slows down the pace,
right? And
it does.
And so I really enjoy the other parts of it, and I'm like, I want to get back to that. So potentially, I can see a way of doing that would be to when you get one of those missions that the captain gets beamed to his chair, and he can choose whether to accept it or not. Like, make the beaming happen in the first 20 seconds when you're not allowed to warp. You have 20 seconds to kind of read through, and that's when you get your exposition, because I think it takes about 20 seconds to before you can skip warp.
Yeah.
And you have to skip warp because it's
otherwise it's going to be 45 minutes of just sitting there.
Which everybody understands. Like, I don't think there's going to be anybody, with the exception of if you're running away from a firefight and you want your shields to recharge. I don't see any reason not to skip the warp.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things where it's like, I appreciate that the warp is there and it's a long time. I would say close warps make them 10 seconds, but the long warps make them take a minute. They just don't. You're not allowed to skip them, kind of thing. So instead of having 20 seconds and then skip, basically everyone's waiting for the skip.
Right.
Or we forget. We're trying to figure out why it's taking so long.
Yeah. I think my only major suggestion would be that, and I've already kind of touched on this, but just better overall AI for bots. I don't know, more flexibility for the bots is the main thing, because they really don't, unless you want to spend the time, like I did, to try and set up the bots to behave exactly the way you want them in every single possible situation. They're just not very useful, and at times they're rather quite a hindrance. So Yeah, that would be my only suggestion. I don't even need to speak any more to it. I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
So one of the games that this reminds me of, there's a game called Artemis that was, let's see, I played 8-9 years ago, which it was basically the same concept, except it was not first-person shooter. It was you actually had to LAN 5 computers together. So you had a computer that was dedicated specifically to the communications, one that was dedicated specifically to science, one that's dedicated to piloting. So actually, in my living room, we all set up 5 computers, and we all sat there at our stations in real life.
Nice.
It was a blast. Like, and now it's not a game that, like, the depth of this is much better, and this is a better rendition of the Star Trek Space Bridge simulator kind of thing. And I would much rather play this one again, but it was like, I wish that they provided an opportunity to, like, have the captain have a little bit more meaningful thing. Maybe we should have role played a little bit more, where it was like, wait for the captain to give the orders before we immediately see the
Start shooting.
Yeah, well, you see the bandit clunker in the HUD, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to shoot that one. I don't have to, like, which one are we targeting is kind of like the captain's decision. But it's not like, we're not playing dice, and all of a sudden the captain's like, man your stations kind of thing. And I think that it's so close to being there, and I don't know how they could do it without just people participating themselves.
Yeah.
I think I didn't do the captain role, but because I
We
wanted to
wouldn't
do.
have allowed you to.
It would have been a disaster.
more active. But
We're gonna fight this sun.
I do think that nuke the sun.
Yeah.
But I do think they're like that. That's one more concrete area for potential improvement is something that give some more decisions for the captain to make that actually would affect kind of the gameplay, other than just where to go next and who to shoot.
Yeah.
It was nice to play as a captain, though, because I could go in and I could help the scientist out. I could go and help the engineer out. I could go and help the...
This is the part where we all jumped in and all died.
Instead of sending one of us down at a time, we all jumped. So it was nice to be able to do that as a captain, but I almost wish it was like, hey, you really should stay in your chair and delegate and organize and do that, rather than going and filling in the spot as needed. Because I felt very like my decision, I had to make the decision to go somewhere, and as soon as we went there, I was relegated to support role.
Yeah.
Which I don't think William Shatner would have accepted.
This ship is attacking us.
I wish that we had like we had one of us be Picard or Shatner. It would have been fun.
Oh yeah, that would have been fun.
You
I
can
mean,
be
we had the Colonial Union ship, so it was perfect. It kind of looked like, Starship Enterprise in a way.
Chief, you've been awfully quiet. Would you recommend this game to somebody?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more fun to play with people, unless you want to spend 5 hours doing your bots, setting them up. So, but yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun for the time that I played with you guys. It was, it was just a bunch of tomfoolery.
Yeah.
In space. And
in space at night.
Yeah.
at night.
Yep. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
To me, I think that this was the most fun I've had so far in the 3 games we played. Now, I'm not saying that.
Really?
I think that Valheim is a better game, and if I had been able to dedicate more time to it, I would have enjoyed it more. But Valheim was like, I was...
You're always playing catch up.
Yeah, I was like coming in and like the very first night I had with Angry was fantastic, and then when I played with Witherbot,
It's not the first time I've heard that.
the subsequent nights were very lackluster though.
Not the first time I've heard that.
Oh gosh.
So I think playing catch up. Whereas with this one, I was like, me and Ninja played a lot together, and it was a lot of fun to jump, like, explore. I wish that they had more of a cloud saving thing where it's like we could have the game available somewhere else.
That is a big potential improvement.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Having like dedicated server, you mean?
What, like a dedicated server or something that I could put, like make my own server. That way, I don't have to save the file, hand it off to somebody.
Yeah, that's right. Because I mean, effectively, what we had to do is every time we played as a group, we played on our like group file, and if someone wasn't there, we still progressed that save file and then just put it like in the Discord,
right.
And then the next person to play could use that file, and when they were done with it, they could put it back in the just trade it off like that, which was fine because normally whenever we did play, we played together. But if I was like really wanted to work on our world and then came in and I had like upgraded the ship a bunch, people would feel like they had left out probably.
Yeah, a little bit. Did anyone play? Did you try the Fluffy Biscuit?
I spent like 10 minutes. It seems like an interesting alternate kind of storyline to do, but I didn't get into it. Or essentially, your job is to be like a door-to-door salesman in space.
In space.
At night.
There are definitely aspects of this that remind me of Morrowind.
Oh yeah.
I'm. It could be just like the giant walls of text, but and the.
I say I never played Elder Scrolls until Oblivion, so I can't really relate to Morrowind.
Well, I mean, it kind of has all the NPCs have the Oblivion stare, so.
Oblivious.
But it's like this like the pacing of the game was actually pretty good. I thought it was like it brought you in, like they're high, like there's a lot of games out there that do like balls to the wall action nonstop. Like, and I find the best games, the games I enjoy coming back to, are ones that give you the balls to the wall action and then ease off and let you catch your breath and didn't do it again. So there's like a rhythm to it, and I felt like this game did a really good job with it.
That's true. I would recommend this to anybody who wants to play it. I got about a solid 30 hours of pretty enjoyable time out of it, which in my opinion, for like however much it costs, I forget. I can check real quick. For a $25 game, if I can spend, an hour per dollar I spend on the game, enjoying it, then. Did that make sense? Did that sentence make sense? It didn't make sense whenever I thought back to it.
Yes.
If the number of hours I enjoy it surpasses the number of dollars I spend on it, then generally I would recommend it to anybody.
So Binding of Isaac is like the greatest game ever, then.
Yes. I didn't say that it's a ratio of how much I enjoy it, but I would just say
$1 on that game and have like 300 hours in it.
Yeah.
All right, so next month we're playing Power Wash Simulator.
I don't want to play that game.
It was so fun.
It doesn't look fun. And the thing is, everyone I've heard play it has said it's great, but I don't want to play it.
And I'm playing Lawn Mowing Simulator right now.
Of course you are.
Like, not like right this second, but
maybe they'll group them all together one day as just Suburban Dad Simulator.
The thing is, neither one of us
Waving to your neighbor simulator, followed by Painting the Shed Simulator.
Grilling Burger Simulator. Oh, that'll totally be a thing.
Then there'll be like
Banging the fence simulator.
Oh gosh. Being the bystander of the guy grilling the burgers. Like, oh yeah, that looks good. Turn him over.
That looks good.
No.
And then end credits.
No, it's a co-op game. You have the have everyone understand.
Flip him now.
You don't want to flip him too often. You'll lose the juice.
You'll dry him out.
What kind of grill is this that you're on?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Dang it, Bobby. You know that we only grill on natural Arlen propane from Strickland Propane.
Oh man,
I want a burger.
I had one for dinner.
Good use.
All right.
Well, if you enjoyed this, smash that like button, as Angry says.
That like button. I put that in the chat.
Yeah,
Go ahead and drop the
subscribe.
like.
We need to get 1,000
Subscribe.
subscribers to be able to change our URL, get a custom.
We're shooting for 10,000 likes on this stream.
Yeah, if we do 10,000 likes, Angry will put on.
We'll do a face reveal on OnlyFans.
We'll post a butt pic in the chat. We get 10,000 likes. Can't guarantee it'll be my butt, but it'll be somebody's butt.
Yeah. And if you're interested in joining the Discord, I don't know what the URL is, but we'll put it in the description.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Any last words, anybody?
Next month.
Yep.
Yeah,
See you next month with our next game.
Yeah. See you next month. We'll figure it out. Keep an eye on the channel.